Hi guys, it's Wednesday, hump day. Apparently I'm finding out the hard way that things are winding down for Christmas already when it comes to tradies and people in the real estate industry, because as you know I've been house hunting. Missed out on that place that I added a photo to the last video, which is a bit disappointing. I would have liked to have seen the place, but it's already gone under contract. There might be a problem with the contract, so it might become available again, but for the time being it's out of the picture. There is another property that I've found in the Trinity Beach area. It's actually in the beach adjacent to it, but it's only 2 blocks from the actual beach, the secondary beach, and it's only about 15-20 minutes walk to Trinity Beach, because I've actually stayed up there for about a month when I was just checking out the area up here for possibilities of living, and that was about a year prior to me actually moving here. And I've got a fairly good feel for the area, and it's quite easy to wander around there. So I'm going to go to an open house for it today at 5 o'clock. At least that's my plan at the moment. Depends how I feel, but I'm okay. I probably will make the effort. So I'll take a bus ride right up to the beaches and take some footage up there, which will at least be something different for you guys, because I know I've been pretty slack, but I'm on this medication and a certain part, it knocks me about for a certain period of time, then I pick up, and I'm in that picking up stage, so I'm feeling a little more energetic and can do stuff. But also the other thing today that I wanted to do was actually go back to the old format and do a few stories. I've got some Daily Mail stories and one from news.com.au, so I'll just get into those straight away. It looks like it's going to warm up here too. It's going to be about 32 today, I think, and pretty high humidity, I'd say, so not the most pleasant weather. So I don't know how much I'm going to be wandering up the beach. We'll see how it goes, but I'd like to get some fresh footage for people, just get a perspective on a different part of town. So we'll see how it goes now. Just on to this, the first article, as I say, in the Daily Mail, revealed Australia's population will be split into 12 different age brackets for the vaccine rollout early next year. And it's terrible news for young people wanting to travel overseas. Australians over 70 will be prioritised, followed by the 65 to 69 age bracket. The rest of the population will be divided into 5-year increment age groups. Aussies in their 20s hoping to travel will have to wait until the end of next year. Wow. There likely won't be any under 18-year-olds receiving the jab at all in 2021. And the reason this is so important is because Alan Joyce has made it clear, which is in the article itself, that you'll have to have the vaccine to travel. Now, I'll just complete the first part of this headline. And Qantas announced last month that passengers must show proof they've been vaccinated before being allowed to fly internationally. Now, that's all well and good if the vaccine has been proven not to have side effects. I keep coming back to this. I don't want Aussies or anyone else to be used as guinea pigs to fast track this vaccine. It's been pushed onto the market really quickly with the proviso that Big Pharma have absolutely no legal liability for the damage that may cause to the people taking the vaccine. This is very dangerous ground we're treading on, and it makes me wonder about the credibility of our governments allowing this to occur to the population. And the other thing, this whole idea that Australia's got, I can see that the idea of first off giving it to the 70-year-olds and above because they're the most vulnerable. That makes sense on one instance, but when you think about it, who are the people that you least want to use as guinea pigs for the vaccine? It's exactly the same population. Now, until this has been properly clinically trialled, I don't want them putting the jab into probably the most vulnerable people, the most sensitive to any side effects or complications. This potentially could kill off a lot of elderly people. And if you're going to actually do this, you actually want to do it the opposite way around. You want to use the 20-year-olds as the guinea pigs because they've got a much better chance of survival if there are side effects. So am I missing something here, or is that logical? Why the hell would you do it this way? Now, you can't tell me that this is going to be regarded as a safe vaccine just because the government's going okay at the moment and they say Big Pharma is getting good results. They said the same thing about the thalidomide drug, and those side effects took years to come out. So this is not as easy and cut and dry as you might think. I think it's a ridiculous overreaction to a strain of flu, which is what we're dealing with now. And they're prepared to put the populace of the country at risk to try out this radical idea with fast tracking a vaccine. Am I the only one that can see hairs on this and see dangers? I tell you, I'll be very cautious about taking any of this vaccine, to be quite frank, and I would advise anybody else to as well. So you can pretty well kiss goodbye this video getting any air on YouTube. It'll be going to Bitchute as well. I'll put it on YouTube. What the hell? But I doubt whether it'll last. I think they'll scrub it because I actually dare to use logic and worry about the welfare of the population being subjected to a vaccine. For what reason too? The COVID is not the Black Plague, for God's sake. I've said that millions of times and I'm sticking to my guns on it. And unless a nasty strain of the flu comes out, I'd say that basically this is a huge overreaction. There likely won't be any under 18-year-olds receiving the jab at all in 21, and pharmaceutical companies aren't looking for approval in younger people as they are a lower risk. The exact order of immunisation for certain age groups won't be revealed by the federal government until late January. Experts will establish which groups are considered essential workers and will be bumped up in line to be vaccinated. Frontline healthcare workers such as doctors, nurses and paramedics, as well as those in aged care, will be the first to access the vaccine. Australia's $1 billion coronavirus vaccine is scrapped. So this is the great white hope from Queensland. Despite a vaccine trial, here we go, at the University of Queensland being dumped due to false positive HIV test results, the Health Minister Greg Hunt expects to have early assessment of two leading vaccines, one from Pfizer and the other from AstraZeneca, by the end of January. Australian regulators will then be asked to give the drugs the tick of approval, putting the national rollout on track to begin in March. Again, this is very, very fast, and I think it's obviously signposting that the international borders will be opened tentatively in March and be rolled out from then on. That's what I'd expected anyway, because we're still, as Aussies, we cannot travel overseas without permission until the 17th of March next year. The company is working to finalise issues including the size of the first vaccine dose and the time before the follow-up shot. There are no red flags at this stage, there are only green lights, Mr Hunt told reporters on Monday. Oh yeah, you're a pharmacologist, are you, Greg Hunt? I mean, you know, we this could come and bite us in the backside big time, especially considering those essential workers are going to be the first to be given the vaccine. And if there are side effects, it's going to basically bump them out of the equation. That's great. You know, they're the people we need. The minister's comments come as New Zealand committed to forming a travel bubble with Australia by the end of March 2021. Qantas boss Alan Joyce sparked anger from vaccine sceptics last month when he said his airline won't allow passengers to travel if they don't get the jab. He predicted the rule would become standard practice around the world as governments and airlines consider introducing electronic vaccination passports. Oh God, we're moving into Big Brother territory here. Mandatory vaccination already exists as a condition of entry for certain countries for other diseases such as yellow fever and polio. Well, I don't have a problem with yellow fever or polio. We know that vaccines have been incredibly effective at quelling those. And I'm not against vaccines, but they have to be proven to beyond reasonable doubt that they're not going to cause horrible side effects. And it's something that they can't really guarantee. And the pharmaceutical companies have absolutely no liability. It's unbelievable. Flight Centre CEO Graham Turner said the obvious way to kickstart travel while avoiding mandatory quarantine would be to have a vaccination requirement. Melbourne Airport CEO Lyle Stramby said proof of vaccination or mandatory quarantine would be the only way Australia's borders would be able to reopen without risk of another outbreak. Well, I disagree with that. I think they're going to go for it. They're certainly going to go for making it mandatory to have the vaccination, but I don't think it's necessarily the be-all and end-all. We're a victim here in Australia of our own success. We've been incredibly good at stopping the spread within the country, but it makes it very hard to open the borders to countries where the spread is rife. Well, I'm not intending on going to a country where the spread is rife. I want to go to Vietnam, and I personally I would hope that will be one of the first countries to be opened up. Vietnam, Malaysia, a few of the Southeast Asian countries, they've done well. Here's another story. US shocked that Australians will be stranded around this Christmas. Australians who didn't do anything wrong have been unfairly penalised by strict COVID-19 rules, and the world is paying close attention. Scott Morrison promised all 26,800 stranded Aussies would return home by Christmas. So far, only 14,000 have been confirmed to have returned home. It's no secret that Australia's handling of the corona pandemic has been, for the most part, a success. In comparison to other Western countries, United Kingdom and United States, chief among them, and our conduct and swift uptake of restrictions has been lauded by leaders, experts and media around the globe. But 10 days from Christmas and on the doorsteps of COVID normal 2021, spent waiting for a vaccine to be approved and administered, one draconian rule unfairly penalising Aussies has drawn the world's attention. And anxious, angry and abandoned, less than 2 weeks from Christmas, at least 39,000 Australian citizens and permanent residents are still stranded overseas due to Australia's international travel caps. Jesse Gretner wrote in a piece for CNN today. Well, one of my favourites. I've got a word to say about CNN at the end of this, which I think you might enjoy. Hitching a ride on Santa's sleigh now seems like the only option for those making it home for the holidays. In September, the cap on international arrivals, a measure initially introduced in mid-July after a hotel quarantine bungle led to Victoria's devastating second wave, was raised to 6,000 per week and then increased again in November. Prime Minister Scott Morrison told reporters he could get many people as possible home, if not all of them, by Christmas, while Federal Health Minister Greg Hunt said he wanted to ensure that every Australian who wants to come home is home by Christmas. And yet tens of thousands of Australians remain stuck overseas as life here slowly returns to normal, drawing criticism from a number of prominent publications in America who question whether it's a potential breach of international law. Australia is one of the few places in the world that is barring citizens from leaving their own country and limiting the number of those who can return, a September piece in New York Times read. Well, for once I actually agree with the New York Times. I think it's basically a rag, but on those particular terms, I agree. I think it's been way too harsh, personally, the way that Australia's actually treating, the Australian government's treating this. The tough regulations have raised legal concerns about the right of freedom of movement and have been especially painful for the large number of Australians who turn to travel as a balm against the tyranny of distance from the rest of the world. Yeah, I'd be one of those. I'd fit into that category. And finally, the worst kept secret in journalism is that CNN are a pack of wankers. And here's a story to basically totally back up that notion. And as you can see, obviously they embrace wankers and they're quite happy to keep them on the payroll. This is the guy that masturbated on Zoom, on a Zoom call. Real classy guy. But he's good. He's fine. He can be a refugee in CNN. They're happy to embrace his behaviour when doing Zoom calls online. So good on you, CNN. I'm glad to see that you really are picking the cream, pardon the pun, of the crop for your journalists and commentators, because as we all know, they're fine journalists and commentators at CNN. The truth is just so important to people there. Yes, that's my joke for the day. Okay, well look, that probably do it for today. I'll wrap it up here, and as usual, please give me thumbs up, thumbs down, comments on the video, and please consider subscribing. And basically, that's it. Hump day, you're over the worst of the week. Hopefully you get your Christmas shopping done. I've got my turkey, so I'm happy. I've got a frozen turkey, so I've got the most important item, and now I'm just going to get some veggies and some gravox and maybe make some stuffing, and that might be about it. So I hope you don't stress out too much prior to Christmas, and hopefully it won't be too damn hot here. Oh, by the way, I actually also saw another one of my subscribers yesterday. Had a couple of pints of Guinness. They shouted me one, which is very nice of them. So thank you for that, Lynette. And so that's another person thinking of actually moving up here. So that both lots of subscribers that I've caught up with are both intend to actually to make a move from the southern states. Well, in the first case, they're actually in Sunshine Coast, hinterland, and in the case of Lynette, she's from New South Wales. So these people are relocating to Cairns, and they better make it quick because the house prices seem to be. Well, there's a lot of interest in properties up here. It just seems to have gone berserk just before Christmas. So I don't hold much luck with going to this open house, but you got to do what you got to do, I guess. So anyway, have a great day, and I'll keep you updated of what's happening up here.